Hello, everybody. Guess since it's near October, I really should pump out these horror reviews um, fast to end the month. Although technically, I talk about them any month of the year, but you know what I mean. Yeah, this review is on Child's Play 2. So the plot of this movie is after the events of the first movie, Andy's mom is put in a mental institution because, of course, nobody believed her about Chucky, and Andy is also put in is being counseled by a bunch of pediatricians and a bunch of child services to help him cope with his trauma and by because he keeps having nightmares about Chucky, and of course Andy's put in a foster care and gets new foster parents, and wouldn't you know it, Chucky returns. Okay, well, it's because the toy company that makes the good guy dolls is trying to rebuild Chucky. They found the doll burnt at the crime scene after the end of the first movie, and Chucky's soul ends up going inside the new doll, and Chucky is back. And this time, he's looking. He wants to get revenge on Andy and kill him, and he wants to transfer his soul into Andy because he wants a human body because he really hates being stuck as a doll. So Andy has to get help from everybody and try to escape Chucky once again. It's very rare I say this about a lot of sequels, or heck, just horror sequels. There's barely any horror sequels I would consider better than the first movie, but this is one of the exceptions. This is one of the few horror sequels I actually like more than the first one, along with like Dawn of the Dead and Evil Dead 2 and such. This movie is it's the first movie, but amped up in every way, and that's what I love about it. It's you could tell that the budget's a bit bigger because the first one was kind of had that low budget indie type style. I mean, it wasn't cheap or anything, but you can tell with this, like the sets are much better, the kills are a lot more creative, and like the practical effects are definitely a lot better. Even the way Chucky moves is actually even better than it was in the first movie. So they really amped up the budget and the scale with this one, and I think that really makes it an interesting, a more interesting view instead of just having it look like a B movie. Not to say the effects are like the best thing ever or anything, but like the way Chucky moves, like I really like how they made Chucky. He can walk, he can talk, he can move his hands. Like the puppetry in this movie is really good. Like I don't hate CGI like a lot of people do. Like lots of people say we don't need CGI everything. I agree it doesn't have to be in everything, but I think CGI is great when it's used good. But this is a case where I don't think it would have looked as good with CGI because the way Chucky moves is so good. Like you can tell it's not just a hand puppet that where you only see the half like a Muppet. Like you can actually see him walk and talk and move, and even just the way he kills people, you're just like, wow, they made it really look like this thing is threatening. And the plot is it's kind of like the first one in a way. I think there's a lot of moments where it does kind of remind you of the first movie because yeah, that's I think that's probably the biggest problem with the movie because like there's a lot of scenes where Andy gets in trouble because of Chucky, and of course nobody believes him because that happened like I don't know 50 times in the first movie, and this happens all over again. Like it happens throughout the movie. You see you see Andy getting in trouble like in the house, and his dad and his new foster dad's like tries to throw Chucky down in the basement to see nothing happens. Stop blaming that doll. And Chucky vandalizes Andy's schoolwork, and of course he gets locked after class. And yeah, it kind of it's kind of predictable in that way. I mean, I guess it would have been hard to make a sequel to this kind of concept given the whole thing about it is that Chucky tries to get Andy in trouble, and of course no one believes Andy. But I mean, it does kind of add to some suspense, I guess. Like it kind of gives you a break from all the killings, and the killings are really good. There's a lot of really over the top deaths in this movie. All of that just from a doll, and the climax is great. I think it's even better than the first. The whole thing is set without giving too much away. The climax is set in a toy factory, and it's like really shady looking toy factory. Like it doesn't look colorful and creative and fun. Like it looks like a really kind of dingy looking business. And you get a lot of creative concepts with all the mechanics and mechanisms they use with the things in the toy factory, and I love it. Like this is the kind of stuff I love in a Chucky movie. Like it has some really creative ideas for scenes and deaths that you can't see in any other film. And like, yeah, this is what I want. Like the first Chuck Child's Play movie, like it's good, but like lots of them were just the kills were just basic. Like you just see Chucky go around town and even in Andy's apartment and stuff. And yeah, that's kind of it. But here, like they do go all out, and you get a lot of crazy ideas, and even the whole thing about Chucky wanting to transfer his soul into a human. Like that like they made this film even more insane, and that's what I love about it. It's a fun film. Like is it stupid? Yeah. But so is the first one. Like the Chucky movies are those kinds of movies where I can understand people getting scared by them because yeah, lots of the kills are pretty scary, but at the same time like the concept of a psycho possessing a doll, like that is kind of silly. So I think this movie is the right balance of silly and scary because lots of the deaths that happen, you're like, ooh, that seems like a horrible thing to happen to you. But there's like a lot of silly ideas involving possession and stuff, and it's a wild film, and it's really next level when compared to the first Child's Play, and it's a really worthy sequel. Like if you thought the first one was kind of underwhelming, you might like this one a lot more. It's way more over the top, it's way more creative, and it's way more wild. So Child's Play 2 is a rare sequel I like more than the first. It's wild, it's creepy, it's I can see why people would find it scary. Me, I think it's kind of silly, but that's what I love about it. It's campy fun, and well, if you love Chucky and you've only seen the first film for some reason, I think this is a must watch. It's better than the first one in possibly every way, and I think it's a very fun time. It's not too long, and it's depending on what kind of person you are, I don't know if I'd call it scary, but it's a very fun movie, and that's pretty much all you need. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Child's Play 2. A really fun sequel with some pretty creepy moments, but overall still overall still a really fun film, even if it's not completely scary and it's more silly. But hey, if silly works, then silly it is. So, goodbye.